Hey guys,
Welcome to Milk Learning.
it is Miss Dow and Miss Boyce. My period 7. I know you don't really know Miss Dow, but you do because she visits sometimes. So you're going to hear her voice in here too. Today, you guys are going to start off. We're going to start off nice and slow and see how it goes. And if there's any issues, you're just going to let us know by email or by Google Classroom or by Remind. I'm still on Remind, so you can text me through that. All right, we ready? I know you are. So we're going to do the do now, which says complete the table of values and plot the points on the coordinate plane. If you notice, what are we plotting? We're plotting x squared. And we all know that that is called what? Starts with a Q. You got it. Quadratic. Great one, everybody. Okay. And it's a little tough for me to write, so I'm getting used to it. And Miss Dow's laughing at me. I know you party people out there. It's going great. Okay. So quadratic equation is all we're talking about in this chapter 8. Okay, so if we were to plug in -2 to this equation, we would get what? -2 squared means it's a -2 times -2, so we get 4. If we plug in a -1, we're going to get -1 times -1, which is a +1. Just be careful of that because anything squared is going to be a positive. So then we're going to fill in the rest of our chart, a 0, a 1, and a 4. And notice there's a little bit of a pattern, right? The top and the bottom are the same, and the middle guys are the same. All right, and then if we plot this, take a look at what it looks like. And I feel like we've kind of gone over this before of what a quadratic looks like. You know the word. You got this. Think about it. Starts with a P. It is a parabola. Parabola. Did I say that right the first time? I don't know.
Yeah.
Thank you. So now we connect our dots, and it should look like a U, right? I didn't go through that totally correctly because I'm trying to do this on my computer. So it looks like a U. Okay, so that's what all our graphs are going to look like with a little bit of a variation. So let's move it. We're going to page 2. So again, we say it's 8-4 graphing quadratics in vertex form. There's a couple different forms, and we're going to deal with vertex form for really this whole week. All right. So this is stuff that you can read on your own. The most important stuff is highlighted. We have vertex. Vertex is where, kind of where your graph starts. Like it's the middle point. It's where your arrows are coming out of. So see, I can go up this way, and then I can go up this way, right? And that's your vertex in the middle of those two, whatever, rays. Sorry. And then we have the axis of symmetry. The axis of symmetry, if you follow me really quick, I'm going to go back for 2 seconds. The axis of symmetry is the x value of your vertex. So here was my vertex, 0, 0. And the axis of symmetry is the x because look what happens. Again, remember what I said before? These are the same and these are the same. That just means that this quadratic or parabola is symmetrical over this y-axis. Move on from there. Let's not get crazy with that just yet. Okay, there's some, these are the definitions. Great. There's that axis of symmetry. Read through it. Vertex, maximum value, minimum value, and axis of symmetry. Okay, you guys can read through that. Pause it and read. Ms. Dow's laughing at me. Okay, let's look at this example together. So now do you see my graph has moved over from the original vertex we had of 0, 0. So this says identify the vertex. And I kind of feel like you guys may be able to do this, maybe on your own, but if not, let's do it together. I have to. Okay, so the vertex, there we go. Here it is. I know. Look, my writing's almost as good as when I'm on the board, right, guys? All right, so my vertex, again, is kind of where that middle piece, right? So what would that point be called? I went go over 2, and I went down 3. So my vertex is 2, -3, right? And we're going to put that as a point, so we're going to put it in our parentheses. That's our vertex, okay? The axis of symmetry, and we call that our AOS, so we don't have to write it out, you know, too many times, because that's going to take me about an hour to do that. Okay, so our axis of symmetry, remember we said is the x value of the vertex. So x equals, well, look at our vertex, right? What's our x value of the vertex? There it is, 2. So x equals 2. And again, all that means, all you need to know about that is if I draw this line, x equals 2, because we know it's a vertical line, right? If I draw that line, if I flip this over this side, then I'd be good. And I would not, like that's symmetrical. So that's all that means. Okay, let's talk about our domain. Our domain, guess it. It's all of Algebra 1's domains. It's all real numbers. We're going to make our all real number sign. You can write ARN if you would like. This is our all real number sign. Great. And then the range, remember the range goes with the y value of the vertex. So here's the y, what's the y value of the vertex? Here it is, -3. And because our graph opens up, right, we're going to say y is what? Think about it. Y is what in comparison to -3? Excellent. Greater than or equal to. I'm so proud of all of you. Okay, good. So now you're going to stop it, pause my voice for a minute, and you're going to try this on your own. Okay, go. So did you get your vertex? I'm going to write V. Really have to pause it. So your vertex is, I moved over 3 to the left, and I went up 7. So my vertex, did you get -3, 7? If you did, I'm so proud of you. If you didn't, I'm still proud of you for trying. The axis of symmetry, that AOS, is, oh, I'm not sure what that looks like, but it's axis of symmetry. And again, we do want to call it a vertical line, so we want to say that it's x equals -3. The domain, there's your nice point on the test, which we're not sure what it is all real numbers. You got it. Did you write that? I hope so. And the range. Now we got to be careful with this one. We tried to trick you here. Y is what in comparison to our y value of the vertex? Because it opens down, it's going to be less than or equal to. How'd you do? I hope good. We're going to stop there. And I believe we're going to give you one, or are we stopping here? Never mind, I lied. We're not stopping here. Move along. Okay, here we go. Next. If you need to stop for a break, you can. Okay, so the next thing we're doing is we're going to so it's called vertex form. That actually was called vertex form, what we just looked at. Now we're just putting it into an equation. So instead of looking at the graph, we're looking at the equation of a parabola or a quadratic function. So as weird as this looks, it's actually no big deal because A is going to be a number. And we kind of went over this when we did absolute value. We were able to tell whether it was a stretch or a shrink and whether it opens up or down. That's based on the negative or positive, which we'll get to. The H is going to be a number again, and that's going to be the X value of the vertex, which I have written down here for you on your notes. And the K is going to be the Y value. Again, it's going to be a number. And it's the Y value of the vertex. Okay, so watch. Maybe with numbers, it may be a little bit easier. So let's see. So here it says the identify the vertex. So now again, we're not looking at a graph, we're looking at the equation. Okay, so our vertex, I'm going to label it as V, is going to be, so do you remember with absolute value? I don't know if you do. When we talked about absolute value, everything with the X is wrong. So it's always the opposite. So even though this says -3, we're going to do a +3 for our X value of the vertex. And then our 5 is going to be the Y value. It's whatever is being added or subtracted. We talked about this with our transformations when we said, okay, we move over 3 to the right and we move up 5. So our vertex is 3, 5. The axis of symmetry. So now based on what we went over already, it's the X value of the vertex. So we're going to write, X equals 3. Great, we already got that. Once we get our vertex, we kind of almost have everything else, which is kind of nice. We know whether the graph opens up or down because of this 2 in front. It's going to open up simply because it's a +2. So in other words, if it was a negative, it would have opened down. And it would have looked like an N instead of a U. And if there's a stretch or a shrink, that 2 again tells us that there is a stretch. Okay, let's go through a couple other examples and then you guys are going to stop the video and try the try. And again, if you have any questions, you can always just email or text or throw it back up on Google Classroom. Okay, so let's see. Our vertex, again, labeled by the V, is going to be a -2, -6. That's our vertex. All of the X is always opposite. So whatever's with the X, okay, if it's inside the parentheses, it's going to be the opposite. Okay, we know our axis of symmetry. I'm not going to write it every time. is going to be x equals -2. We're going to say it opens what? It's going to open down this time because of that negative in front. And again, I feel like you guys already know that. Maybe just needed a little bit of a refresher. It's the same as absolute value. If you hear a door slamming, it's because my kids are going inside and outside. Okay. And there is a stretch or a shrink. There's actually neither, because this here is what? An invisible 1. So the invisible 1 tells you that there is nothing, there's neither. Okay? There's no stretch or shrink. It's just a normal parabola. All right, let's go to letter C. The vertex is going to be -2. And look, there's nothing outside, right? There's nothing outside over here. So what is that going to be? 0. So your vertex is going to be a -2, 0. Your axis of symmetry, of course, is x equals -2. What's next? It opens up because there's no negative right here, right? So it's got to open up, and it's again neither because there is no stretch or shrink. Okay. I'm going to go down here. All right, I don't want this to be on your way, sorry. Okay, so do you see now there's no parentheses? Okay, so what that means is the x value is now 0 because nothing is specifically being added. There's no parentheses, so there is no x value there. So it's 0, in other words. And then what's being added or subtracted is this -6, so we're good. That's your vertex. So your axis of symmetry seems kind of weird, but it's not because it's still x equals 0, still a number. Opens up because there is no negative in front of the x squared, and still no stretch or shrink, right? Okay, let's look at the next one. Notice there's, again, even though the -3 is attached, there's no parentheses that's adding or subtracting anything to the x value. So our vertex in this case is actually 0, 0. Because watch, so there's no parentheses. Oh, look, it kind of looks like a happy face. There we go. There's your 0, 0. And there's nothing being added over here, so it's still 0, right? So we'll do +0. Okay, so our x is equal to 0. Our x equals 0 is our axis of symmetry. And it opens, which way does it open now? Because of this negative. Now it's going to open down. And is it a stretch or a shrink? The stretch or a shrink is told by the 3, not the -3, just the 3. And we know that that's bigger than 1, so that's going to be your stretch. I do believe there's notes again on that stretch and shrink. I think I skipped a slide, so if you need to go back, let me just double check that I have that in there for you, because you guys can't actually go back. Right there, if you want to pause this. No, that's not it. Never mind. Where's my stretch or shrink? Did I put that over here? Hold on. Oh, did I put a stretch or shrink? Okay, well, let's move on. Maybe I have it somewhere else. Hold on. Right? No. Oh, there it is. A, stretch or shrink. Yeah, there you go. Okay. So A, remember, if it opens up, I'm sorry, if it's greater than 1, it's a stretch. If it's less than 1, it's a shrink. Okay, so I'll let you look at this page. You can always pause anything that you need to. And then we're going to go to the try. So you're going to try it. So you're going to pause it. You're going to try it, and let's see if you get it. Okay, so hopefully this is what you got. Are you back? Great. I'm going to stop talking so you don't have to hear my voice. I'm just going to write. But you'll hear everybody else's voice in my house. Remember here, I just want to double check. It's a shrink. It's a shrink because we're talking about 1/2. I'm just letting you know everybody can hear you. Say hi to Mr. Boyce, everybody. Okay. It opens up, and remember there is no stretch or shrink because it's a 1. Okay? And then last ones. Can I just say them because I'm done writing? Okay. This vertex is going to be 0, 2. It's going to, the x equals 0. It opens up, and it's neither a stretch or shrink. And number 5 is positive 5, 0. X equals 5. Remember, it's the opposite, so it's 5, 0, and it's x equals 5. It opens down because of the negative, and it's a stretch because of the 3. All right? And that's it for today, guys. So the next time you hear my voice, we're going to be graphing. But what you do need to do is Google Forms. So we're going to post that. That's going to be posted also. So you guys can do that tomorrow.
No.
No.
Oh.
We're going to do. Okay. Okay. We got you. So you listen to the video, go back to figure out whatever you need, and then we'll be checking your Google Forms. All right. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.